Hey everyone. I recently finished up my first semester of college, actually last Friday, from the day this will be uploaded. The whole college experience was really fun. I got to meet a lot of different people, and I also met a lot of new friends, I would say. But of course, at the end of the college semester, for most students, they have the opportunity to fill out college surveys to basically let their professors know what to improve on or what to change in the class. Ultimately, it's supposed to be like a very positive experience for everybody, but I came across this one college survey. Is it like a survey? I don't really know. It the description here calls it a survey, but it's um more like a berating, if I'm gonna be honest. But we'll get to that point later. For context, this excerpt here, this survey here is taken from an AEC survey, which for college students that just refers to like a survey conducted among students enrolled in architecture, engineering, and construction related programs. This is like pretty engineering related, at least this survey is. I believe it's talking about a stats class, and accompanying that background knowledge, this survey was accompanied with this brief description stating, I have written 3 whole pages consisting of 1,256 words in response to the AEC survey from my stats class about what could be improved upon it, and for your viewing experience, I've taken screenshots. Verbatim what it says. But I actually haven't read this. Okay, here, let's do this really quick. I have read the first screenshot, and after reading this first screenshot, I really wanted to just like make a video breaking it down because as you'll see, it's more like a rant session more than opportunity to give a lot of constructive feedback. But with all that out of the way, let's finally go into this. Already, the opening line here, um, basically sets the tone for the whole survey, if you will. But I'll read the first paragraph and we'll move on from there. The only reason my notes for this class did not exceed one 70-page college rule notebook is because I did not at first judge that I needed to take as many notes in the class as I realized I needed to, until slightly less than halfway through the semester. The total textbook reading consists of 534 pages. Perhaps subtract around 80 to 150 pages for supplementary material, not necessary to the course, across 18 chapters. In the syllabus, it states that both readings and online lectures for every block, content over 3 chapters at the time of the textbook, are necessary for student understanding. So already off the bat, I don't know about you, but I'm already having a really hard time trying to figure out where this is going. Like the first opening sentence is, honestly, to put it very bluntly, I kind of view it as a skill issue. It's it it's kind of hard to believe that it'll take a student like half a semester to like adjust to the course. I would have thought that like most students are smart enough to like adapt and adjust very quickly and get a very good grasp of what they need from the course. It shouldn't really take halfway through a semester, but I understand that it's a new experience for everybody and everybody's going to adapt very differently. So, good on this person for being able to adapt really quickly. As for like the rest of this very first paragraph, what does the textbook reading in 534 pages really have to like do with anything? I know that's kind of touched up on later in the next sentence. Basically saying like in the syllabus it states that both the readings and online lectures are necessary for student understanding. But like come on now. You know that the professor is gonna change some things up from the syllabus. Albeit I understand that they probably shouldn't, right? Like most syllabi in courses are like your Bible for like what to expect, but like they can change stuff at any time. They're human too. Be lenient, right? I don't know, that's just what I think. But let's move on with this screenshot because there are five total, 4 more that we need to get to. Let's just finish up reading this first one and then we'll move on. However, it is important to mention that many class syllabuses say this exact line, that line being readings and online lectures for every block are necessary for student understanding. But the reality for the student is almost never the same for every class. Like I said, professors won't be the same um, across like all classes. Every professor is going to run their course differently. For example, my bio. Okay, and this is the first sentence that kind of prompted me to really want to make this video. Keep in mind that this is a, um, you know, the messages you're like putting out here and the writing here is going to be sent out to like higher ups in the department, like department chairs basically. Um, saying like phrases like, for example, my bio doesn't exactly give off like the best impression. Like, I understand like this person is obviously very angry with their course, right? But it's just like, don't say that. And if you are going to say that, can we just like phrase it a little bit more professionally? Already, like, we're not even we're not even like halfway through this, and it feels just like a very angry text from, I don't know, like your friend or something. I don't know, but let's keep moving on. For example, my bio. I class also says this. Oh boy. Okay. I think that I here. Oh, you can't see my cursor. I'm sorry. Um, give me a second. Is this better? Yes. Okay. I'm looking at this I here. I'm gonna look past it and I'm gonna just like think it was supposed to be like a my, but yeah, whatever. It's just a little typo. It's a little typo. It's okay. It's not like this is going to the department chairs or anything. And I'm getting a call from my mom. I'll be right back. Okay, so I preface this video by saying that it'll be one continuous take, but of course things are going to happen. I'm also human, like the professors and student in this survey, but I can make up for the sudden cut. I was able to find this cat upstairs, so he'll sit with us for the rest of this recording. Maybe he'll become a staple. I don't really know. But nonetheless, he'll stay here and read this AEC survey with us. Let's pick up where we left off. I think I was complaining about this typo here. I class also says this. I think it was my class. I'm kind of tired of breaking every time. Or like breaking for every sentence, so I'm just gonna read the whole thing in full and then dissect it. I class also says this, but I have not peeked at the textbook in around 2 months, and am still performing above average in the class with my peers. This goes to show the inherent subjectivity for every course, but it also highlights how it is reasonable for me to come to the conclusion that the textbook was not as necessary to learning in this class as the syllabus may lead one to believe. After all, I took some time to censor out some teachers' names, or some professors' names, and personal information from this document, so if you see any redacted items here, that's what it basically is. After all, my professor also went so far as to post online lectures we were to watch for every block, so I would probably be more than fine to just go off the lectures and perhaps skim the textbook every once in a while. My foreboding word may have clued you in, but I was sorely mistaken. What? Although I did not find out by how much until the first homework, in which my handwritten notes taken from the lecture did little against content that was never presented to me, and entire equations I have never seen before. What? That's not a complete sentence, I'll keep going anyway. But this is also stated in the syllabus. It's said expressly that you won't do well on any of the graded material unless you also take notes over the readings, and that the lectures are only meant to be an overview of the material. I think at this point I'm just gonna look over like all the grammatical errors in this AEC survey. But to point some out, this phrase here, but it is also stated in the syllabus. It said expressly that you. Also, who is you? Is you the student? I mean, just like. Also, why should they care? Why should the department care about this? I'm also looking at like this opening line to the third paragraph. My foreboding word may include you in, but I was sorely mistaken. You were sorely mistaken on what exactly? It might just like be me being stupid and not understanding, but I'm having a really hard time following what this student is just trying to say in general. Um, because we kind of talked about this one up here. We're talking about online lectures and whatever, and that the um readings may have clued you in, or the readings are like important, but the student is apparently mistaken that they're not important. I don't know. I guess I'm just really confused at what this person is trying to say. Also, what does bio have to do with anything? We're talking about a stats class here, but it's whatever. I'm gonna be here for too long if I don't move on, so let's just move on to the second screenshot. Again, I'm gonna read this in full, and then we'll break it down. From this point, from this point onward, I have not seen anything. This is all new to me. Here we go. Oops. I went back, and then I went like back to the first screenshot and then to the second one because I was wondering like why it was cut off here. It was cutting off the thing when I zoomed in. Okay, I'll stop messing around with the formatting. Let's read it. So what, I ask you, is the point from the perspective of the student of ever watching a sometimes as long as 90-minute lecture, if it is not going to do anything to help you learn the material? I'll spare you the trouble, there isn't. When leisure activities such as video games or talking to friends for long periods of time become delegated to precious hours, sometimes on the weekend. Delegated to what? It is simply out of touch of the college student in the year 2020 in the year 2024. Thanks for specifying the year. We're headed into 2025 though pretty soon here, so you might need to update this survey. It is simply out of touch of the college student in the year 2024 to give these lectures in their curriculum and expect the student to study and watch and learn from them. I know I said I'm going to look past grammatical errors, but shouldn't the period right here be like right here if this is a continuation of this sentence here? Let's look past it though. Especially if the content given in the lecture is not to be taken as an informative and complete lesson over the content, because it's missing several key pieces of the material you can only get from the textbook. As I needed to make sure I'm not cutting off anything. As for the textbook itself, the fact that I'm going home with a mere 3 credit hours from this course is laughable. You can't change the credit hours, dude. Please don't complain about that. Taken directly from my university, credit hours from asynchronous education courses such as this one are 3 hours of student work for each week. I consider myself the above average student, and my grades reflect that. That's great, dude. I'm glad you can... No, seriously, that's like awesome that you can like acknowledge that and be happy with yourself where you're at. That's awesome. A lot of people, like, I know at my college, I don't know, they just aren't happy about, like, whatever grades they're receiving, and they're like, oh, I can do better, I can do better. So I'm glad that this person is happy with their caliber. My grades reflect that. I say with every drop of honesty that I can muster that I have spent no less than 6 to 7 hours at worst, up to 12 at one time due to my poor planning. What hell that was. Please don't include that statement in your message to like a higher department chair. Please don't swear in your survey, in your reflection anyway. What hell that was. Per week on reading the textbook, interpreting what it says, transcribing its words into notes, and completing the homeworks, quizzes, study guides, and exams. In the meantime, if I dare pose a question about what material or curriculum, I could rest assured that my professor would get back to my email promptly within 3 to 4 business weeks. She said she has experienced issues with her email and has apologized for it. In the last email she sent me, she responded after 2 days, however. That did not solve... I'm sorry, I'm just having a really hard time reading this. I think at this point it's a me problem. From the opening parentheses of she. She said she had experienced issues with her email and has apologized for it. In the last email she sent me, she responded after 2 days. However, that did not solve the problem of needing answers to questions that research online could not solve. A lot of things going on here. Let's break it down. I really don't like how this top part here is written. Maybe that's just me, but it's just like This is being sent up to, again, I have to reiterate this. This is very important. This is being sent up to like people in higher department chairs, and as far as they know, this is your first interaction with them. So maybe have just a little bit of formality. Is that too much to ask of people? Um. Also, it just seems like this is, again, there's like 5 screenshots to this. It's a very long AEC survey. If you even want to call it a survey at all at this point. It feels more like a rant session, if anything. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it too, like the department chairs, like didn't even have to read anything past this point because, or like this first screenshot here, they probably didn't even read anything past this point because they knew how much more there would be. Um, yeah, it's just like you have to understand that I don't know how many people are in this stats class. I'm gonna assume low ball, maybe like 20 people. 20 people have also written their surveys, and if you have like 19 surveys, maybe like 1 to 2 paragraphs long, and then this like one here that's like eight paragraphs long. What's stopping the department chairs from just taking the 19 shorter ones and then just taking all the feedback there and then cutting this one out, right? Because obviously these people in like the higher chairs also have stuff to do, and I don't think they want to waste their time reading something like this. All that to say, I would have liked if this survey was a little bit more brief. Also, this part down here, I think it's more of like the student's issue. It's just like it's a time management thing. You have to understand that yes, you want to do well in this course, but you also have to take time for yourself. And just like, take a break, I guess. And if you don't understand something, you don't have to go right to the professor for help. Go talk to some friends in the class or some other people, your peers, I think like most of the issues addressed in this paragraph down here are more of problems of the student. But I could be wrong. There are 3 more screenshots, so let's see what else this person has to say. I also like how the first thing I noticed here when I had to censor out this piece of information here was that even the survey grammar checked this submission. So let's just read it and see where we go. Perhaps the thing I take issue with the most is the inconsistency of the delivery of the material. If I am asked a quiz or test question over something that the textbook, the one thing that's supposed to be a complete study guide over the material, only mentioned as supplementary. Apologies, I had to burp there. If I am asked a quiz or test question over something that the textbook, the one thing that's supposed to be a complete guide over the material, only mentioned as supplementary, and did not give to you the information in the chapter, but rather suggested you log into the publisher's website and view for yourself, only if you were interested, I believe I have the right to be confused, and left wondering how I was supposed to know it. It was not skimming through the hour-long online lecture that yielded answers, because why would it be? But it was instead revealed in one of my professor's quicker emails, replying to mine that it was an equation that was mentioned in the example of the weekly homework. Here I pose another excellent question. Prose or prose? Just something that confused me reading that. Here I pose another excellent question. Why would a piece of information that is noteworthy enough that I must be tested on it... Sorry. Is it just me, or is this written really poorly? I'm gonna keep reading it. Why would a piece of information that is noteworthy enough that I must be tested on it be only accessible to me in the optional example of how to complete the homework, with no reference of its existence, or even mention of it in the paper and ink textbook I bought for this class? Or what about the times when information that was not in the textbook was given in the lecture? Yeah, you just said Oh my gosh. Sorry, I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me being, like, strict about, like, formalities, but you can't say You know what? Your class... You know what? Your course sucks, and here are all the reasons why this course sucks. You know what? You know that's what I think. I don't know. It seems it seems a little harsh. At least to me. Let's keep reading. You know, the lectures that this class trains you not to watch? Or what if the equations you're tested on look different than the ones you spent 7 hours taking notes on? That was all me. Or what if the equations you're tested on look different than the ones you've spent 7 total hours taking notes over in the textbook? What then? Again, it's just like, I don't know. I don't really have any comments for this one besides grammar errors. It's just like, calm down, man. Jesus, just cool it, alright? You passed the course. Yeah, you might have had some struggle with it, but just like, Jesus, calm down. Constructive criticism can go much further than destructive criticism. At least I believe so. And as far as I'm concerned, everything so far has been very, very destructive. I love how like he also emphasizes here too, right? He uses these like asterisks here on. Let's count here. How many times does this guy use asterisks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can tell he's pretty serious because he uses a bunch of these like, you know, asterisks to highlight how angry he is. There's also a lot of rhetorical questions here. Again, department chairs aren't going to spend like their time reading rhetorical questions. They're going to want feedback, straight to the point, right? They're not going to spend time like reading these comments. Alright, fourth screenshot. This one looks a lot simpler than all the other ones. Oh, okay, hang on. I just noticed this too. This person acknowledged that they're ranting. Let's just read it. I finally put this ranting and raving about my poor experience with this course and its instructor out of its misery by saying, I do not blame my professor for my negative experiences that were my fault. It could be argued plentifully that I should have listened to the syllabus, scheduled my class time better, or paid closer attention to the material, or that if some other preventative measure, sorry, big word, or that if some other preventative measure or course of action should have been taken, I would have had a way better time with this class, and they would likely be right to an extent. I don't hold any hatred towards my professor either. She is someone who was so unacclimated to online-only classes, an extension on the very first exam that I blatantly forgot to take, and remembered a week after the last day it could be submitted, and my gratitude for that outweighs my grievances against her, but not her curriculum. I don't know. It's weird that you're like talking about the professor now. Hang on. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know. This is a really weird like change in tone for the writer here. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to articulate my thoughts here. I guess what I'm trying to say, or what I have been trying to say, is that it's really weird how you're giving the professor grace now after berating them for like 3 whole screenshots over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs, right? I don't know. It's a little strange. Also, take note that this is a course evaluation, not like a professor evaluation. Which I understand that like it's pretty common to like group those two together. But it's weird how you're like how the student is like basically berating their professor and like saying, "Oh my God, this whole course is wrong, and I hate my professor." To basically giving them a little bit of grace. Grace to her, but not her curriculum for some reason. This is the last screenshot here. Let's just finish this up. This video is gonna go on for like 30 more minutes if I keep talking. Let's just finish it up here. Okay, I had to make sure you could read it. There's like a little portion down here I keep cutting off every time I try to zoom in. If changes are made to address the problems with consistent information delivery, address the inherent issues of asking students to watch lectures that are purely, oh, you can tell he's serious now, he's using asterisks again, that are purely an overview of the material and do not provide an adequate summary or lesson over it. Provide a method of communication beyond email, such as established office hours. The irony did not escape me when thinking of to ask the person to meet for office hours by email, who would likely not respond to my email quickly enough for the issue I'm facing to still matter. Encourage comprehension of material over grades. Don't mute the answers to the study guide after we complete them. It's a study guide. Why shouldn't we be able to look back at the questions and the answers we gave them to review? I believe students similar to me will have a very positive experience with this course, whose material is by all the means interesting. Okay, alright. I mean, they tried to end it off on like a great, not really great, that's not the word I meant to use, I'm sorry. They tried to end this off on a very positive note, talking about how this content, this material here is by all the means interesting, and how if these changes here were to be fixed, they'd have a very positive experience. But at the same time, it's just like, me personally, I can't take this seriously after this student just like complained about everything over the past like few screenshots here. But real quick, let's just look over these problems real quick. Maybe I can address these changes. If changes were made to address the problems with consistent information delivery, I can understand this one, to be honest with you. I mean, like, I understand how it could be frustrating to try to find information that's like broken up and separated between lectures and online lectures and textbook. That can be a little bit confusing, but I do have like one word for that: internet, or if you want to get even more specific, AI. Me personally, I'm a big AI user, but I know like hang on, where is it? I know that hang on. Okay, I know that in the scroll up. I know that in the year 2024, a lot of college students now are just like not really using AI to cheat essentially, but they're using it as a study tool. I know one guy in my bio lecture that heavily used ChatGPT as a supplement, and he performed as well, if not understood material better than me. So if that's what it takes, then you do whatever you need to like figure it out. All that to say, like, sure, there may have been problems with this consistent information delivery, but you can't just like sit on your hands and complain about it. Again, these college courses are ultimately for you, the student, to learn. And honestly, the way I look at it, if the information is here for me to learn, I'm going to do everything in my power to learn said information. I'm not going to just bank on the professor. I'm also going to use my own tools and skills to try to figure out this information. This next point here addresses the inherent issues of asking students to watch lectures that are purely an overview of the material and do not provide an adequate summary or lesson over it. I'm reading this now. What is this trying to say? Addresses the inherent issues of asking students to watch lectures of the material and do not provide an adequate summary or lesson over it. Again, this kind of goes back to, I think this point here is like an extension of this first issue here. Do whatever you need to learn the material, right? Go to YouTube, do some Google searches, talk to your friends, email the professor, but I guess don't email this professor because they are bad at responding to emails. Whatever. Provide a method of communication beyond email, such as established office hours. I can get behind this one. Kind of. Like, having office hours is incredibly important, don't get me wrong. But it's not like you're not seeing this professor maybe like every other day in the week. It was mentioned here that, where is it? There are, like, they're watching lectures and stuff, so I assume there's an online portion to it. But I have to assume that there's also a in-person portion to it, right? I'm gonna have to assume, because they're talking about like office hours here. Go bring your questions to the professor when you meet them in person, right? That way they put a name to your face, and, well, not only can they put a name to your face, they put a name to your face, they see you're dedicated, and they see you want to learn. That's the most important one. And I think once you establish like those three things, they will be more willing to help. Not like they shouldn't be willing to help already. Not like they shouldn't be not willing to help their students already, but maybe they'll be more lenient towards you and help you out faster. I don't know. That's just a few ideas. Okay, and then the last point here: encourage comprehension of material over grades. I don't really know what this first part means here. I think that's just like, you know what, I don't even want to try. I don't know what this is saying here, but I do know what this part in parentheses is talking about. This actually does kind of rile me up a little bit. Please don't mute the, like, answers to the quiz I failed. I want to figure out what I got wrong. But again, I'm gonna do everything in my power to like try to figure out what I got wrong, and then adjust for that. And I think I'll end off this like whole first video. This is a very long first video. I'm at like 30 minutes now. I think I'm gonna end this whole thing off by saying that I think the student here just needs to give themselves a little bit of grace. And granted, it was maybe their first time in like a college course like this. They did say this was their first time doing online lectures of this sort. But yeah. Just hopefully this was a learning experience for the student in whatever ways they needed to learn. I don't know. I can't me personally, I just can't take this seriously. It's a survey, a course evaluation that got turned into a rant session very, very quickly, and I think it's for those reasons and the numerous grammatical mistakes obviously pointed out by the survey itself that lead me to believe that this was written more out of anger than good faith. But one thing I would say for the student who wrote this is just, one, give yourself some grace. It's okay. You probably passed the course, and that's completely fine. But two, take this as a learning opportunity of what to expect in college, right? Obviously, I also completed my first semester of college here very, very recently. But yeah, realize that if something needs to be changed, you need to change it, right? Because I find it very hard to believe that you're spending 7+ hours every week over a stats class. I feel like at that point you're either wasting your time trying to study. Sorry, that's not the phrase I wanted to use. You're either not studying very efficiently, or you're squandering your time, basically. But I feel like recognizing one of the two problems, maybe even both, is also a good thing, because it allows you to readjust and reevaluate what you need to do. It's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to change, and hopefully this student can recognize that and hit their next semester next year, in the year 2025, incredibly hard. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about here. Yeah, I'll see you around.